everybody. Welcome to Show du Jour. I'm Diane Coll. And, I realized that in my pilot episode last week, I was not looking into the camera. So I'm going to look into the camera more this time around. I'm going to try really hard. I realize StreamYard is different from Facebook. So welcome to the show. This is our second episode, and this is where I just pick a hot topic. And I really just want to have a conversation with you. You all in the audience are my special guests. And I just want to interact as much as possible because I really think we have so much to learn together and that we can share together. So I really just kind of want to do a little follow up on last week's show because I got a lot of messages after the show, those that watched it live and on replay. And there was one common question that I just want to get to. And that was, okay, so the first show was about gaslighting. And the most common question I got was, well, I'm married to a gaslighter. What do I do? Or I have a sister who's a gaslighter. What do I do? I just can't leave, so I just want to address that really quickly. And I know exactly what that is about because I've had my own deep personal connections with gaslighting. And what really helped me was that I armored myself with knowledge, because knowledge is power. And you take your power back, and then you decide, should you stay or should you go? So read up as much as you can on gaslighting. Read up as much as you can on narcissism, because they are they're just like this. They're just connected. One is not separate from the other. And it will really help you understand. You can kind of see it from a more objective point of view. You'll be able to notice it a lot quicker. You'll be able to see it for what it is. And the most important thing is you won't blame yourself. You'll realize that it is an issue with that person. And when we're gaslighted, we self-blame a lot. And so if you arm yourself with knowledge, you'll be able to make that decision for yourself. It'll be so informed, and you will feel so much better about yourself. So I want to recommend two books. One I know I put on the Cosmos thread, and it's called Psychopath Free. I just love that title. It just grabs your attention. It's called Psychopath Free, and it's by Jackson Mackenzie. And this other book I'm going to hold up because I can't pronounce the author's name. If Maddie were here, I know she'd be able to pronounce the author's name. But it's called Healing from a Narcissistic Relationship. And I'm just going to hold this up, and I realize it may be backwards. I don't know. It might be. Oh, it's not backwards. You can see the author's name there. I've got this on Audible. I have listened to this book 2 times because it really, really helped me heal in a big way. So I just wanted to make sure that I addressed all those questions that you all sent me after the show. And thank you again. So, okay, we're going to talk about boundaries together. And they're just so important. I mean, it's how we take care of ourselves. It's how we avoid burnout and stress, and it's how we can improve our relationships, especially if that person honors your boundary. If that person doesn't honor your boundary, then you know what to do. But I mean, I define a boundary as this kind of just invisible but very clear line of what's acceptable and what is not acceptable. And it's just something that you state verbally to somebody or non-verbally. And, it can be something as simple as don't touch me. I will not let you talk to me in that way. That is unacceptable. Those types of ways you can assert that verbally, and other ways non-verbally. This is kind of my work example. If I have a client texting me 10:30 at night or on the weekend, non-verbally setting that boundary, I'm not going to answer that text until I'm on the clock the next day. So, there's just so many ways that we can establish boundaries because we deserve to, and we need to, um, and we need to hold them steady as well. They get a little wobbly. People can sense they're getting a little wobbly. They're going to jump right over it and violate that boundary. So I want to start with the question. And thank you, Jonathan and Renee, who's here behind the scenes today. Love you both. Thank you for all the tags there. Renee, you're writing something here. I'm going to start with the question, and that is, what is your biggest challenge with boundaries? What is your biggest challenge? Does anybody not have, I can't even talk today. Has anybody not been challenged by setting boundaries? There, I got it out. Renee, you're saying nonverbal enforcement of boundaries is great because it's like voting with our feet. Voting with our feet. Setting a pattern. That has a ring to it. I love that. Renee, I'm glad you're tagging Monica Arrington because I'm going to give her a little shout out today in the episode. So yeah, what is your biggest challenge? I really want to know. My biggest challenge as a woman is, Renee, hold that. I'm going to share mine, then I'm going to address yours. As a woman, and especially in the decade I was raised, was, I was taught to put other people first. I could put myself second, third, fourth, fifth, but you always put other people first. And I just think we women are conditioned that way. And it is a value. It is a very good virtue to hold. But, when I think about it now as an adult, it's sort of like, my child brain took that message and just thought, well, that means other people are more important than me. I lived with that false belief for a really long time. So I really had a hard time setting boundaries because of that, because I didn't think I had the right to. So my biggest challenge and my biggest, I think, success is when I gave myself permission to really start setting boundaries. So Renee, I want to see what you were saying there. And I see Jonathan, you're chiming in as well. Renee, thank you for putting it on the screen. My biggest challenge with setting boundaries is identifying them. Yes, for myself first. And then also being bold enough to change them as my own needs expand and grow. Yes, identifying those boundaries. It's like, what are they? What's acceptable? What's not acceptable? And yeah, it can change. It can most definitely change. I'd like to hear more about that, Renee, if you want to chime in a little bit more. And Jonathan, my biggest issue with setting boundaries is that I have a heart 3 sizes too big. So it's hard for you to do that. So you must feel guilty about setting boundaries, is my guess. Because that's a feeling I struggled with too, with setting boundaries. I kind of feel guilty. It's like, am I being mean? Am I being mean? But no, the answer is no. Let's see. Renee. That's the same one. That is the same one. Just scrolling here. My biggest challenge is letting go of people I truly love. Oh my God. Because they cannot respect my boundaries. Oh my God. Yes. We have to do that. Yeah. I'm a little speechless because that really connects with me. I had to do that about 11 years ago. One of the hardest things I had to do. And then what made it even harder is people judged me for it. They thought I was being the jerk when really I was just setting a boundary. And I did have to cut somebody off because that person was being a jerk. But then people judge and go, well, you're the jerk. It's not fair. Ruby Ray. You know what? I caught your, I couldn't sleep either. And I caught the very last 10 seconds of your set late last night. I had someone disrespect me publicly because I tried to kindly set a boundary with them. I even explained why I needed to set the boundary, and it was for myself. Absolutely. Yes, that's why we do that. Man, what they did in return was disgusting. Oh, now I know I cannot be very vulnerable, and I enjoyed that quality in myself. Okay, that breaks my heart. Man, I almost want to know more about that. But you know what? I'm just going to say you did the right thing by setting that boundary, and maybe over time you'll feel more comfortable with allowing yourself to be a little more vulnerable again. But just knowing that, I mean, there are people out there that will not respect boundaries. They will push back and just be jerks about it. But don't let that stop you from being you. You are so sweet, and your voice and everything. Don't let that person stop you, but maybe you need a little time to heal. And God, there's some good books on boundaries, and I'm drawing a blank. I'll have that in my comment section. I really, really relate to that. So, what do you do when people push back? You know, because they do, especially if somebody has been used to you not having that boundary, and then you start to set that boundary, and they start to push back. What do you all do? I've got something that I do, but I just kind of want to see what you all have to say. I know. Renee, my other challenge is setting self care or health boundaries because I never want to seem like a sissy. I know you have that issue. Wear more dresses. And I always underestimate my physical limitations. Mm, yeah, we do have to set boundaries for ourselves, don't we? And to come to terms with our changing limitations. I mean, they're going to change as we get older, or we may develop some type of illness, and that brings on a whole new set of limitations. And yeah, understanding those internal boundaries that we set for ourselves. It has so much to do with expectations. Wow, you all are chiming in here a lot. I don't have to go to my notes. This is great. I put my walls up and set boundaries, and my friends list got cut in half. Then you didn't need them as friends. Anybody who's not going to respect your boundaries, you don't need them as friends. You don't. I say good on you. Good on you. I think people forget we all come with different baggage to this point, and so our boundaries are different. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you really raise a good point. I think sometimes we judge somebody and we don't know their baggage, we don't know their wounds, and we don't quite understand that boundary. And maybe that boundary seems irrational, but to them it's not. To that person it's not. So yeah, we really need to respect each other more in terms of those limits that we set. um, I wanted to share something. This has worked for me. Whenever I've had somebody push back, when I'm setting a boundary and then they push back, and I forget who I learned this from, but it really does work. Just sort of think like you've been coached by a lawyer and you've got a one sentence response. So no matter what that other person says, you just keep repeating that one response. It's sort of like, you're in the courtroom and your lawyer has coached you, and the only thing you say is that is not acceptable. And the person pushes back. Blah, 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 blah. That's just not acceptable. Well, what about da 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 da? That's not acceptable. And that way you're not taking their bait. That way you're not engaging in a really irrational argument. You just keep that line. That is not acceptable. And it really helps. Really, really helps. Um, Before I move on to a song, I just want to see what you all are saying here. I think I missed some comments here. Renee, we need to wear more dresses, Kim. Yeah. Like choosing awesome. Absolutely. Because dresses are awesome. Jonathan, what are you saying here? I feel that though my mental limitations are what I can't seem to grasp, they are but lines drawn in the sand. Again, those personal internal limitations, absolutely. And it takes a while to come to terms, I think, with some things. Absolutely. Renee, when people push back, I often fold, but what I'm working on is learning how to hold firm. Oh man, I hear you on that. I totally hear you on that. Because right, you start to feel bad, right? Because you're caring, you're loving, you want people to feel good, and then it's so easy to start to feel bad and we start to get a little wobbly. But maybe that resonates with you. Just having that one line response, and you could repeat it 20 times, and you will never take that bait from that person who's pushing back. So anybody I just can't talk today. Anybody who is here live or watching on replay, I just have one more question before I get into a song. Men, Jonathan, I know you're out there. Any other male viewers, do you have problems setting boundaries? I'm really curious about that because I think we women are conditioned more to kind of let those boundaries go because we have to put other people first and not ourselves. And I'm just really curious about to get a male point of view. Here come the glasses again. I should just leave these on, I guess. When your boundaries and mental health become tantamount to your drive and passion and care, then and only then will you truly achieve balance. Yes, we have to keep boundaries for our own sense of well-being. We really do. Unapologetically, and some people will really try to make us feel bad, but don't let them. I'm just kind of looking here to see. Yeah, I pretty much got to what I wanted to talk about in terms for this section of the show. I'm going to play a song. I'm going to sing for you guys. I kind of call this my boundaries song. And I actually wrote it sitting in this chair, and I wrote it in about 20 minutes because I really meant it. Really, really meant it. And I've played this before on Come On in My House. Not a whole lot, but this is called Won't Let You In. Because sometimes when we set boundaries, we can't let people in. And I'm going to talk about the other half of that after this song. Here we go. I did the right thing, no doubt in my mind, when you reached out to me for a second time. I was nice, but you couldn't see, kept my kindness for me, and I won't let you in. Won't let you in. I won't let you in again. You did a bad thing, no doubt in my mind, when you left what we had high and dry. Left me fading memories as some years went by. So why should I let you in? Now let you in. I won't let you in again. Forgive, but I don't forget what you're capable of. And what you did, I know you just might do again. your form of apology I accept on my terms. And please don't misunderstand these words. I'm forgiving you only for myself, that's for sure. And I won't let you in. Won't let you in. I won't let you in again. So yeah, that's my boundary song. Won't let you in. And since that's like when you write a song and it just really hits you, it just comes out that quick. That was one of those. And it just, those of you that know me well know that I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan geek. And I just always think of that Gandalf line. One of the best delivered movie lines ever. Ian McKellen, you shall not pass. One of the best ever. But that's what that song reminds me of too. I'm going to check in with you all. And then I've got one more question for you. Because, we're talking about boundaries, and a lot about boundaries is you set boundaries, you keep certain things out, but then it's like, what do you bring in? What do you bring in? How do you fill that space? And what do you fill that space with? So that's where I'm going. Let me scroll here. Let's see. I bet you are, M. Yeah. Hey, M, do you have any advice for those that do have a harder time holding boundaries? Any advice about that? That would be great. Heidi! Know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. I forget the order. Man, Heidi and I had a great time last night with Kathy Rice, her mom. It was 3 gals playing cards, having a little Prosecco. We had a blast. There you go. Oh, there it is. Know when to fold them. Thank you. I had it right. I will. Anyone yeah, I'm a fierce defender. Awesome. Facebook user. I am a people pleaser and an empath. So it's taken me years to learn how to lay down and stick by my boundaries without feeling bad. Yes, and giving into whatever the person wants or needs. Yeah. I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but yeah, I mean, people pleasing and being an empath, because we can really feel what that person is wanting or needing, and we want to make that person happy. And that becomes like primary focus. And yeah, it takes such a long time to give that permission to thyself. I really relate to that. And it does get harder when people don't like the boundary, but know when to hold them, know when to fold them, or maybe not fold them. I don't know. So, and the time we have left, oh my God, this went so fast. Monica Arrington, she posted a meme on Facebook, and Monica Arrington, she's also known as Nerd Queen. That is her musician name. I mean, just a lovely woman. I'm a big fan of her music. And she posted this meme over the weekend, and I just want to read it to you, because I think we also have to focus on what we fill the space with. How do we create our own space? I think that is, God, even more important, because I think that the more we fill our space with what gives us joy and safety and acceptance, the less setting boundaries. I just think it just becomes easier. But let me just read this because I love it. You decide who enters your world. You decide who has access to your energy. You decide who contributes to your vibration. And you decide who receives your presence. Thank you, Monica Arrington, for putting that on Facebook. I shared it on my page as well. because our personal space is our sacred space. So, yeah, we protect it, but we also fill it with things that give us joy. So, I am just in these few minutes before we close out. I just want to see what you all do. What do you do? What are your kind of parameters? What do you fill your space with? Your own sacred space. Is it people that want to see you happy, are happy when you succeed? They're happy when they see you doing things that bring you joy. And I know for me that is very true. And it takes a while sometimes to learn who those people are. And then those ones go on the other side of the boundary, and the ones that truly are happy for you and are also there when you're not doing well. It's almost like you don't want the people that are happy when you're failing. You don't want those people. And you don't want those people that are just there when you're doing well either. So those are kind of my parameters in terms of people. But let's see. Jon, men aren't really taught boundaries, at least in the way of seeing. We are into the wild, wild west of birth to fend for ourselves. We are no more than feral kittens left to forage for ourselves for the most part. That is a really good point. That is a really good point. Whoa. You know what, Jonathan, that's a great topic for your man-to-man show that you're bringing back. That's what I say. Man, I would love to hear you get into a conversation with another man about that. I would love that. I think we could all learn a lot. I finally learned that boundaries are self-care. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Renee. Okay, Jon, what advice do you have for someone who is just starting to realize and set boundaries for themselves? I think that, always give yourself permission. And this is just a me thing, but I pay attention to my body. My body will tell me if I need to set a boundary, if that makes any sense. I start to get nervous, or I start to get anxiety if I'm around somebody or hear about something. And it's just one of those things of I need to pay attention to that. Give yourself permission to do that. Trust and honor your own instincts with people. And I think another thing too is, and this is a big one, a lesson I learned years ago, is I don't have to like everybody, and not everybody has to like me. It's okay. It is totally okay. We just can't like everybody, and not everybody's going to like us. And I think that's another thing that once we come to terms with and accept, it just becomes easier to set those boundaries. So that is an excellent question. You always have such good questions. Facebook user, nobody lays down a boundary like Gandalf. I know. The best damn delivered line in a movie ever. Okay, so I'm aware of the time here. You know what, you guys? I am going to, I really want to close out with something, and I'm aware that this is only a 30-minute show. I have a song that I wrote over the pandemic and recorded it over the pandemic on GarageBand. And it's just a song about, it was a blessing that I had that time for myself to heal from a number of things right during the beginning of the pandemic. And I think this is the other thing, Jonathan, in terms of answering your question about advice, is spend that time with yourself and really just reconnect with who you are, even if it's for like 5 minutes. Just kind of just be outside, be somewhere where you are just with yourself and just simply be. And I think when you really get a sense and reconnect with who you are, it will just be easier to set those boundaries, because that space, that sacred space, becomes even more important. So last thing before I sign off, I have this in my kitchen. Be nice or be gone. That is my boundary sign, and it's in my kitchen. So anybody who comes over sees this. And strangely enough, they're all very nice. So anyway, you guys, I'm going to answer, if I didn't get to all your comments or questions, I will answer them right after the show or definitely by this evening. But let's keep this conversation going. And those of you on replay, please feel free to chime in. I will answer you. And thank you again for being here. And I'm just, the song is going to be my sign off. And Jonathan, whenever you are ready, this is a song I wrote 2 years ago now. It's called In My Skin. And hope you all enjoy, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
World going round, really slowing down. Conversations went on and on. No sweeter sound that I can hear.